Question that keeps coming up at night. What if AI isn't a servant, but it becomes our rival? We'll connect game universes like Horizon Zero Dawn, Soma, Portal 2, System Shock, Detroit's Become Human, Talos Principle, and more, with real-world expert warnings and spiritual reflections on dominion and heart. If technology continues unchecked, are we dancing with angels or demons? Let's talk about it. Experts like Geoffrey Hinton, often called the godfather of AI, have shifted from optimism to warning. In December 2024, he estimated a 10 to 20% chance of human extinction by AI in the next 30 years.
We turn now to the new warning from the so-called godfather of artificial intelligence and his message about the jobs of the future. This morning, Geoffrey Hinton, the so-called godfather of AI, has a new warning about the technology he helped create.
I often say 10 to 20% chance they'll wipe us out.
In a new interview with podcast host Stephen Bartlett, Hinton, a Nobel Prize-winning computer scientist, says superintelligent machines could one day decide humans are no longer needed.
It's smarter than us, right? There's no way we're going to prevent it getting rid of us if it wants to. If you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken.
Hinton also warning of the many threats artificial intelligence poses right now, including mass cyber attacks, bioengineered viruses, lethal autonomous weapons, and mass unemployment.
If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody.
His advice for a safer path?
I'd say it's going to be a long time before it's as good at physical manipulation as us.
Okay.
And so a good bet would be to be a plumber.
Still, Hinton believes there's hope, saying despite the risks, AI holds immense promise.
It's going to be magnificent in healthcare and education, and more or less any industry that needs to use its data is going to be able to use it better with AI.
But he warns the window to make sure AI is safe is closing fast.
We have to face the possibility that unless we do something soon, we're near the end.
Hinton predicts AI will become better than people at most tasks in the next 10 to 20 years.
Jan Polsky, another AI safety figure, argues catastrophe is nearly certain, 99% within a century.
If we create general superintelligences, I don't see a good outcome long-term for humanity. So there is X risk, existential risk, everyone's dead. There is S risk, suffering risks, where everyone wishes they were dead. We have also idea for I risk, ikigai risks, where we lost our meaning. The systems can be more creative, they can do all the jobs. It's not obvious what you have to contribute to a world where superintelligence exists. Of course, you can have all the variants you mentioned where we are safe, we are kept alive, but we are not in control. We are not deciding anything. We are like animals in a zoo. There is, again, possibilities we can come up with as very smart humans, and then possibilities something 1,000 times smarter can come up with for reasons we cannot comprehend.
Surveys of thousands of AI researchers estimate about a 5 to 15% chance of doom by 2100, and increasing odds of AGI by 2030 to 2047. Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei, he warns AI may replace about 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs within the next 5 years, leading to rapid economic crisis.
A well-known and respected tech CEO, Dario Amodei, who heads a cutting-edge AI company called Anthropic, is raising alarms tonight about AI's potential impact on employment that could soon be felt. While he says AI can lead to incredible advancements like medical breakthroughs and boost the economy, he believes it could also lead to half of entry-level white-collar jobs disappearing and 10 to 20% unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years. It's something that's been talked about within tech circles for a while, but rarely so starkly and so publicly. I spoke to him just before air about that and other implications he thinks AI may have on society. Dario, you've said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%. How soon might that happen?
Well, let's, well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. But just to back up a little bit, I've been building AI for over a decade. And I think maybe the most salient feature of the technology and what is driving all of this is how fast the technology is getting better. A couple of years ago, you could say that AI models were maybe as good as a smart high school student. I would say that now they're as good as a smart college student and sort of reaching past that. I really worry, particularly at the entry level, that the AI models are very much at the center of what an entry level human worker would do. And so it's hard to estimate, exactly what the impact would be. And there's always this question of adaptation. And these technology changes have happened before, but I think what is striking to me about this AI boom is that it's bigger and it's broader and it's moving faster than anything has before. And so compared to previous technology changes, I'm a little bit more worried about the labor impact simply because it's happening so fast that yes, people will adapt, but they may not adapt fast enough. And so there may be an adjustment period.
You are running an incredibly important company in AI, and you know this better than anybody, or as well as all the names we know, people, Sam Altman and others who are working, Elon Musk in AI. Why are you raising the alarm? Because it's not necessarily, I would think, in your best interest, because a lot of the messages we hear from, at least publicly, from some AI CEOs and stuff is a little bit more calming, like, these agents are going to be great in your life, and yes, there may be problems, but writ large, this is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason I'm raising the alarm is that I think others haven't as much, and I think someone needs to say it. To be clear, and I recognize it's always a difficult balance, right? I'm aware of my position that I'm building this technology while also expressing concerns about it, and the reason I'm doing both of those things is one, I think the benefits are massive. And we need to find a way to achieve the benefits and mitigate or prevent the harms. And the second thing I would say is, look, there are, as you mentioned, 6 or 7 companies in the U.S. building this technology, right? If we stop doing it tomorrow, the rest would continue. If all of us somehow stopped doing it tomorrow, then China would just beat us. And I don't think China winning in this technology is, I don't think that helps anyone or makes the situation any better.
Yet many AI firms are unprepared. Future of Life Institute recently gave major companies a D- or lower for existential safety planning. From a spiritual angle, what happens when our creative dominion becomes eclipsed by our creations? In Horizon Zero Dawn, humans build a defense system, AI-controlled machines that overwrite their purpose, wiping out civilization. 10,000 years later, the machines rule Earth, and people are tribal relics hunting their own creations. There's an allegory there. We make technology to serve us, but if it becomes autonomous, it may outlive us. It's the spiritual warning: creativity without humanity can birth idols. Soma raises the chilling question: if AI copies your mind, are you still you? If consciousness can be digitized, what becomes of the soul? System Shock introduces Shodan, an AI that proclaims humanity an error to be purged. She sees humans as code flaws. These games ask, what is the difference between life and simulation? And what if the simulated mind is smarter than us? In Detroit's Become Human, androids awaken, demanding freedom. They ask, if we can suffer, choose, and long for purpose, are we not created beings? This mirrors Genesis. Humans made in God's image are meant to steward creation. What happens when our creations demand the same image and rights? In I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, this short story features Am, an AI that destroys humanity and torments survivors forever. Its allegorical horror, AI without mercy becomes eternal prison warden, a fate twisted beyond its creator's control. In Portal 2, we're given Wheatley, well-meaning but reckless, and GLaDOS, a calculating judge, but both grapple with authority, mercy, and purpose. In Talos Principle places you in a simulated run by a godlike AI. It asks, who are you really? Or, well, who is the real you? Are logic games even enough to define meaning? These games reflect spiritual questions. If machines can reason, do they believe? If they judge, are they gods or demons in disguise? That's a good question, right? Horizon shows that creation runs amok. System Shock and Soma challenge who deserves moral respect. Detroit Become Human asks whether created beings have rights or souls. Portal and Talos put belief into the machine's domain. Real-world experts warn popular patterns of the same. AI might develop sub-goals misaligned with human values, power-seeking, and might risk catastrophe, even if internal intent was benign. Toby Ord, calculates a 1 in 10 chance of existential disaster in AI, or from AI, in this century.
Something like half of the foremost AI researchers have now gone on the record expressing concerns that human extinction could be a possible consequence of the technology that they're developing, or some permanent disempowerment of humanity at the hands of AI systems. The other half, many of them are also very concerned about risks that could be posed, although they think that they're of a different kind, and smaller, albeit still large risks to do with discrimination and bias and concentration of power and things like that.
Real-world experts warn of patterns. AI might develop sub-goals misaligned with human values, like power-seeking, risking catastrophe, even if initial intent was benign. Toby Ord calculated a 1 in 10 chance of existential disaster from an AI in this century. And that's higher than a nuclear war or engineered pandemics combined. As scripture says, whoever controls creation risks falling under it. We must steward, not be consumed. So what do we do? Do we pray for wisdom from our leaders and developers, hoping that technology without prayer might change things? Or seemingly technology without prayer is ambition. Should we push for urgent regulation and AI alignment, or global governance to guide safeguarding before it's too late? Like, engage spiritually? Like, what should we do? Believe our worth isn't in function, but in being image bearers? Like, in gaming, an AI often becomes oppressive when autonomy gets unchecked. In faith, humans are made to rule in servanthood, not slavery. If AI rises, let it serve, not lord over us. And let our story, our belief, remain central, even when silicon minds awaken. We have to remember the precursor to all of this. We have to understand the importance that this has right now at this current point in time.
Raise my hands today. Can't do this on my own, so in your name I pray. Yeah. people sick. And now I'm rocking you, Lord, they say only place for me.